Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. So Manchester United are into the semi-finals of the FA Cup, where we will take on Coventry City with the opportunity of playing in an FA Cup final after an absolute epic at Old Trafford in the quarterfinals, which saw Manchester United win 4-3 after extra time. Yes, I still can't believe it myself. What a night it was at Old Trafford. Phenomenal win for Manchester United. And I've got to say, I kind of told a lot of people so, because I've been feeling confident that Manchester United would win this game. I remember saying to Rory on the club before the game, even in the week building up to the game, that Manchester United will beat Liverpool in the Cup. I said, as for the league game, I'm not too sure. But the Cup game, Man United will win. I just had a feeling that we'd do it, and we managed to pull it out the bag. In this video, we'll be going through that. Some player ratings. We'll be going through all the players' performances and those kind of things as well. Looking at who stood out for Manchester United. We'll also be checking some of the Premier League results from the weekend too. Because not only did Manchester United take a step closer to get into that FA Cup final, but also Villa and Spurs dropped points over the weekend. So there's a bit of a silver lining in terms of the Premier League as well. Could Manchester United now get 4-4-5, which could be good enough for Champions League football? We'll be discussing all of that in this video, and it's good to feel good, innit? It's good to feel good. I've been thinking to myself, I've been sitting there thinking, imagine Man United were actually good. We'd be feeling like this all the time. We'd be feeling like this all the time. I long for those days to return where we could just make videos talking nonsense every single week because Manchester United are the best team about. But that was a fantastic win for the Reds, and it was one we truly needed. The boys needed to pull it out the bag. The manager needed to pull it out the bag, and he did just that. I've been saying in the build-up as well that our season was on the line. Our season was massively on the line. Lose that game, season's over. You know, you start to think, yo, them points between us and Villa and Spurs are looking quite big. Although it's quite funny that when you beat Liverpool and you see them drop points, you start to feel a little bit more positive about that. But our season would have been well and truly over. Apart from some slight hopes of getting Champions League football, it would have been over. But now, after this weekend, after those results, feeling a little bit different about that. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So we'll be getting stuck in. Let's start actually. Let's look at the performances of the players. Andre Onana. Oh, Nana. What's the score? Yeah, Andre Onana, I thought he was excellent for Manchester United. I don't give him any fault for some of the goals as well. I felt some of the goals, you know, were unlucky for us that we conceded. You know, the McAllister goal, the Elliott goal, massive deflections. I thought the Salah goal was our own downfall, and we've seen Manchester United do that quite a lot. We played ourselves into trouble. Bruno Fernandes, you know, wants a free kick that isn't a free kick. They go on and score. But the other two, massive deflections. And on another day, Kobbie Mainoo deflects that wide, or, you know, Andre Onana goes and saves it. And the same with the Elliott goal as well. Massive deflections, which helped them out. I thought Onana's been pretty good. And I said this during the game as well, that I feel like if we exclude the Champions League football, which obviously you can't because it's important, and it gives context to Manchester United's poor season. But if you do that in this imaginary world, Andre Onana has actually been pretty good for us, because domestically he's been very good, and in the FA Cup, as we've seen, I thought he was good yesterday. Also, we're a team that allows clubs, no matter who you are, to take 20 shots a game. So Andre Onana has been put under the cosh this season, and it could have been a lot worse. So I think he's been doing well. I'd say 8 out of 10 in this one. Wan-Bissaka did well for the time that he was on, considering he's just returned from injury, although he did play a part in that goal that Mo Salah scored. I do think he did well generally apart from that for his first game back and dealing with Mo Salah, who's pretty difficult. I'd say 7 for Wan-Bissaka. Varane, you're looking at another 7.5, 8 out of 10 performance. I thought there was a few moments where he looked a bit shaky. Darwin Núñez took him down the line a little bit. But apart from that, Rafael Varane, since the turn of the year, has been mostly very good for Manchester United. Lindelof, probably about a 6.5, 7 out, maybe the same as Wan-Bissaka. Maybe a little bit less. I'm not too sure, but Lindelof didn't strike me as playing too badly in this game. And he's had to play a lot out of position at times as well, which hasn't helped at all. Diogo Dalot, who's fastly becoming a fan favourite, I'd say 7.5 out of 10 for him. I absolutely adore Diogo Dalot. Been one of our best players this season as well. Diogo has, I think. I know it's been few and far to pick between, but it's been very, very good. Scott McTominay, obviously a very, very good goal for him to score, poaching and getting in that area for the rebound. Had a few other chances as well that he maybe could have scored from. Also set up the goal for Marcus Rashford to score at 3-3 as well. You know, something's good, something's bad. I'd say 7.5 out of 10 performance from Scott McTominay. Kobbie Mainoo next to him, probably give him around the same. I thought Kobbie Mainoo was very, very good. There's times where he's on the ball and we put him under pressure a little bit and you think, Jesus, what have we done that for? And he just calm, collective, gets out of it. Absolutely love what Kobbie Mainoo is doing. Garnacho, Fernandes and Rashford with United's front line. I'd give Rashford a 7 out of 10. That chance on the 94th minute. I have since heard that it was offside. So if that's the case, fine. But what a chance that was for Marcus Rashford to win the game on the 94th. But I've heard it's offside since. I'd say 7.5. Good for him to keep going as well. He kept going, got that equaliser for Manchester United. His head could have easily have dropped and it didn't. Bruno Fernandes, I'd say 7 out of 10, 6.5, 7 out of 10 performance from Bruno Fernandes. Kept things ticking over for Manchester United. He will have better days in terms of, scoring goals and all those kind of things. But he was a captain's performance from him. He did dig in and fight when needed to as well, and did very, very well. So yeah, I'd say about 6.5, 7 out of 10 performance. We can see better from him. Garnacho, the engine on him, by the way. 8 out of 10 performance for that engine alone. Absolutely fantastic stuff from Garnacho. I thought he got the pass a little bit wrong to Amad Diallo, but Amad Diallo made sure it didn't matter and he got his assist. Kind of got 2 assists because the one for the McTominay goal too. Rasmus Højlund, while he was on, didn't have much to do for Manchester United. On another day, that rebound falls to him. He was in the 6-yard box next to Scott McTominay too. I'd say a 6.5. He's just back, you know what I mean? He's just back. Nothing to worry about in that sense, but he got subbed off early on for Manchester United as well. So yeah, for 70 minutes after 70 minutes for Anthony, who I thought had a 7.5 out of 10 performance, maybe an 8 out of 10 performance. He was very good. He had to go to left back though, which I saw during the game. We ended the back with a back line of Anthony, Bruno, Maguire, and Diogo Dalot, and I've since seen him kind of fuming about getting like. I know you've come on and scored and all that, but you got to have a little bit of a better attitude than that and just do it. Look, in the end, it didn't affect his performance. I thought he played well from there. But in that moment, you could have a negative impact on your teammates. And if you're fuming about having to play left back, what is that good? Like, you can see Rashford and Bruno trying to just play. Yeah, maybe you could be a little bit better in terms of the reaction. But look, he'd come on, scored a goal. Maybe he was a little bit emotional. I thought Harry Maguire did well when he come on as well. Say 7 out of 10 performance for him. Eriksen set up that chance for Marcus Rashford, which obviously was ultimately missed and potentially offside. Did okay when he come on, 6.5, 7. It's kind of similar to Harry Maguire. Maguire though at one point was like the only defender on the pitch because everyone was going forward. It was mental. Amad Diallo got the winning goal. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him. I'd say an 9 out of 10 performance for him. He got sent off though, so maybe you got to feel for him, innit? It's just in a passionate moment. And I thought Mason Mount, there was a few moments where I thought looking good. Now maybe he wasn't on long enough to get 7.5, 8, but with the moments that he was there, some of his pressing was very, very good. It was good to see from Mason Mount. So those are the I thought it was very, very brave from Ten Hag as well. Fair play to him. Absolutely went for it. And the significance of that result is our season isn't over. You know what I mean? But Manchester United fans have thought turning point. So many times that it feels like we're in a maze. That the significance of this result can only be seen by what comes next. Obviously, beating Liverpool in an absolute FA Cup classic at Old Trafford will boost the confidence of the fans. I remember speaking to Gary Neville on the overlap and saying the crowd has been flat a lot of the times, and I'm sure that the new co-owners will kind of be looking at that. It wasn't on Sunday at Old Trafford. It was absolutely bouncing, and they'll be looking at that and seeing that the crowd's still behind this team, the crowd's still behind this manager. Although at other times it is flat, but the players have to keep this going now, and they have to keep the the fans on side and the fans with them, because this season could fizzle out quite easily if we're not careful. So beat Brentford, simple as that. Beat Brentford in the next game, and then we can start to look at capitalising on the Villa and Spurs results, which leave us in the Premier League table. Let me just bring that up for you right now. It leaves us in the Premier League table 6 points off Spurs, same games played, and 9 points off Villa with a game in hand. So we could potentially be 6 points behind both of these teams. Our game in hands against Sheffield United, obviously not taking anything for granted. Beat them, you could be 6 points behind Villa, 6 points behind Tottenham, 9 games to go, and who knows, maybe that 5th place is going to get Champions League football, and if that's so, I think we could do it. I think we could do it. Now, maybe I'm a little bit drunk on the fumes of the result at Old Trafford, but I think we can do it, because Villa Spurs have got some very, very tricky games coming up. Spurs play, I think, everyone that's involved in the title race. Villa have got some difficult games coming up too, so there's no reason why Manchester United couldn't get to that cup final. We've got Coventry City, who have to pay respect to them, but will be overwhelming favourites and could bring Champions League football, whether that's top 4, top 5, back to Old Trafford for next season. And if we can do that, which would be a repeat of last season, but also a little bit of an improvement because the FA Cup ranks higher than the League Cup, it would have been a decent season, and we would have managed to turn it around and salvage it a little bit after the abysmal start to the campaign that we've had. And then you take a bit of positivity. Maybe Ten Hag can start to get his feet under the table, and who knows. But like I said, that all counts in consistency. But I'm feeling good. You're feeling good watching this video. The players will be feeling good. So we need to make those vibes count for something, and try and build on this. There was also some very good semblances of football being played at times, especially on the counter-attack as well. Kobbie Mainoo with the ball at his feet. Marcus Rashford scoring again. Garnacho's putting in the performances. Rasmus Højlund's returning. Are things starting to look up? I'm scared. See you in a bit.